And we're back, guys. Tennis in a minute. I'm your host, Good Energy. Welcome to the fastest minute in tennis. We're going to take a look at SW9 and what happened today. And we start things off with the Battle of Spain. That's right, Christina Buxa taking on Buzas Monero, who is just playing solid tennis. The world's ranked 83rd. Christina's ranked 64th. Now, watching this match, it was clear that Christina Buxa was sped up. She was rushed into playing a type of style that she's not comfortable with. Now, on the other end, if I were coaching Christina, if I were her father, I would have pointed out, look, Buzas Monero is tired. She is yelling and screaming. And this is one thing I look for when I'm playing someone. Sometimes players they're accustomed to, depending on how they come up and their upbringing with tennis. Sometimes players like to scream as they're striking the ball, and there's been talks of possibly issuing penalties for players that do excessive moaning and grunting when striking the ball because sometimes it can affect their opponent, right? Coco actually talked about that, and she said, she doesn't really pay it any mind, right? But it can be annoying. And the reality here is watching this match, it was clear to me that the grunting that Buzes Monero was doing was because she was fatigued and tired. And that's something that I think a good coach, Christina's father is an amazing coach, but that's something that a coach has to point out to their players. Look, this person's tired. So therefore, look, don't do too much. Just get the ball back in play. Maybe try to get a little less aggressive with these winners because you're making a lot of unforced errors. And I would have said, look, just rally. One more ball in play because Christina made 32 unforced errors and Buzas made 44, and Buzas still won the match. Why? She was able to speed up Christina into playing her style of play. Now, Buzas next, she's going to take on Barbora Krejcikova, the 31st seed. That's going to be a good match. We're going to talk about that a little bit later as Barbora, she found herself in a battle as well. Dasha, ladies and gentlemen, from Russia by way now of she's an Australian resident, right? So I talked a lot earlier this year about the Fair Dealings Act, right? Being able to report tennis at the Australian Open and cover all those matches. And the Australian Open, I think it's a great tournament, but it's too early in the season. Sometimes I just feel we don't get the players' best. But what do? I mean, you can't push the schedule back, right? Now, Dasha came out fast, guys, and it looked like we had an upset alert early on against Marta Kashuk, but she would come back, ladies and gentlemen, from the hard hitting Ukraine. Now, I didn't watch this match. Did they shake hands? Did anyone see this? Did they shake hands at the net? Because this whole thing, it's starting to get a little bit comical, right? Now, if Marta shook the hands of Dasha, then there's no excuse for Diana not to have shaken hands with Vavar. But nonetheless, guys, this was a very interesting match as Dasha took the first set 6-4. She had a chance to win this match and wrap it up in two. I turned away from the match. I'm like, oh, shoot, Dasha's going to win it. But the second set, Marta would pull out that tie break somehow, some way. 15 double faults. Marta's got to get those in check. Way too many double faults. But Dasha had 9 of her own. At least Marta did have 4 aces. But nonetheless, I guess the better serving when it comes to first serves won was Marta. She won 68% of her first serves to 58% of Dasha's. But Dasha did win 74% of Marta's second serves. And really the winners, 37 to 24. Marta made nearly 60 unforced errors in this match. That's concerning to me as next up she's going to take on Madison Keys. I don't know if she's going to get past Madison Keys with nearly 60 unforced errors. Way too many guys. Now, this match here, I really don't have much to talk about her. That's Mizaki and that's Dasha once. That's Dasha twice. Why? Because Dasha had a double bagel in this match, and she's going to take on Vamos, Paula Badosa, next. That's going to be a really good match. Now, Badosa had her own interesting match against Brenda Favretova. A lot of people, a lot of investors came in at the last minute, and they pounded Brenda Favretova in this match, thinking that she could beat Paula Badosa. This was a very interesting, it's an interesting number because the reality here is even though Paula Badosa has struggled, she's a solid player. She has a lot of power. I just personally, I don't see any way Brenda could have won this match unless she was able to steal a set and drag it into maybe three long, grueling sets, and Paula Badosa and her stamina just end up wearing down. But Paula won the first set 6-4. She would end up winning the second set 6-2. Seven aces by Paula. She served very well. Seven double faults from Brenda. She struggled to get her first serves in play and lost 56% of her first serves, 63% of her second serves, 26 unforced errors to 15. Brenda made a lot of mistakes in this match. 22 winners to 9. Badosa was aggressive. You haven't really seen Badosa what 22 errors consistent. I mean, 22 winners consistently like that lately. So it's good to see. But again, she's playing a younger teenager that just couldn't match the power. What's next for Badosa? She's got a tough match. She's going to take on Dasha now. Dasha is the slight favorite in that match. I think I would have to go with Dasha. She's playing very well as long as she continues to get the ball back and just work, because you got to remember two different styles here. I do feel Paula Badosa's stamina, it's not where it needs to be. I think she does have asthma, if not mistaken. Someone correct me. I think she has asthma, so she does get tired, and you can see it because I'm pretty sure I've seen her request her inhaler on the sides before, but she does get tired, and that's the type of match that concerns me. Someone like Dasha who's gonna push the pace, and those long rallies, 2 long, 3 long sets, I could see Dasha pulling away and defeating Paula Badosa. What about Katie Volley-Nets and Barbora? This was a very good matchup because Katie played solid tennis, ladies and gentlemen. She really, really put the pressure on Barbora in these exchanges, but the first set went to a tiebreak. Barbora will win it 8-6. And guess what, guys? Barbora was broken early to start the second set, but you could have got Barbora plus 300 to come back and win the second set, only down a break. That's right. And she would actually end up doing that. Two tie breaks, 2 sets. Barbora will wrap it up. But the serving of Barbora, 7 double faults. She's got to clean that up. Barbora lost 70% of her second serves, nearly 40% of her first serves. 35 unforced errors. I felt Katie played as best as she could play. 16 unforced errors. She had 20 less unforced errors than Barbora. But Barbora did have 9 more winners. Listen, Katie had 13 opportunities to break Barbora, and we saw Barbora have to pick herself up off the grass plenty of times in this match. I do think, again, Katie played a good match, but it just came down to Barbora just being a superior shot maker. Just watching her angles, and I've done reviews on all the players, deep reviews. Now we just kind of touch on it on the surface level, but Barbora's angles are very underrated. Her angles across court, the way she handles her racket with her forehand, it's effortlessly. She has good range, and again, I felt the shots that pressured Katie the most was those cross court angled forehands where Katie just couldn't get to it. If she was able to return them and get under them, she was on the defensive, and Barbora came back with the winner. It's just the shot making ability, the angles, the geometry that Barbora uses. It's a very difficult matchup for Katie to win. I do think Katie played well, though. Another very impressive showing here at a Grand Slam. Watch out. And I talked about how the American tennis landscape is changing. It's changing big time. And I do think players like Katie Volley-Nets, the next Olympics, I could see her making it, because I talked about Katie and her game. She's improving. She just has to continue to improve her power and her serve. Other than that, her defense is solid. She reminds me of a young Sophia Kenin. And by the way, I do want to talk about Kenin really quick. Do you guys think Kenin will ever be a top 10 player? That's a serious question. Do you think Sophia Big Game Kenin, look, Sonia, Sophia, whatever you call her, don't leave out the big game. She's amazing. Will she ever be a top 10 player? And the reason I say that is because she lost to Iga, we know that. But her dream was to become #1. And to see her talk about that dream at such a young age in the vintage, videos and stuff, Venus Williams, playing doubles with her as a kid, just giving her that spotlight. A lot of special memories there. Will she ever become a top 10 player again? We'll see. That's a question for you guys. Harriet Dot, the Brit, and Katie Bolter. By the way, Barbora is going to take on Buzes Monero next. That's going to be a matchup there where Buzes, she's going to be at a disadvantage when it comes to the superior shot making ability of Barbora. But if she can speed Barbara up, she can use her athletic ability to hit passing shots. Short balls are going to be key. She tried a lot of short balls against Buxa. They didn't necessarily work. I don't think she has that type of range. She's still young and working on her game. But it's going to be a tough match. I do like Barbora in that. Now, the Battle of Britain, ladies and gentlemen. Katie Bolter, again, it seemed like she has Harriet Dart's number, but this match was a little different. And I say it all the time, it's tough to continue to beat someone over and over again. Eventually, they're going to get better. They're going to start to play more aggressive, more carefree, because at that point, they have nothing to lose. And that's exactly what Katie Bolter experienced today from Harriet Dart. Harriet Dart threw the kitchen sink at her. She's got to clean up the double faults, though. 12 double faults. That is way too many. But the one she did get in play, she won 49 out of 62. That's good for nearly 80%. She lost 56% of her second serves, 35 unforced errors from Dart, but nearly 80 that's right. Nearly 80, 75 unforced errors from Katie Bolter is way too many. And Harriet Dart made Katie Bolter just run like a track meet. She run nearly 4,000 meters in this match. Unbelievable. Harriet Dart, congratulations. She finally beats Bolter. I mean, she beat her previously, but Bolter has dominated that head-to-head. She's going to take on Wong next. That's going to be a very exciting match. Now, Pegula, guys, she would actually lose to Wong. She was very pumped up and animated in the second set tiebreak. It's good to see her show that emotion. I feel she holds a lot of it in. And, a lot of the mental health coaches, that's becoming a thing that's very popular on tour now. I mean, I guess you can say Iga kind of made that popular, but a lot of them will say, look, it's okay to slam a racket. You have to let that frustration out. And see Jess yell was very good, but Jess will fall. Anna Kalinskaya. This was a really good match, guys. Now, Anna Kalinskaya taking on my girl, Mary Boo from the Czech Republic. Hate to see, Mary Boo lose this match, but nonetheless, she did. And I think she played as best as she could. I mean, Anna Kalinskaya, the 17th seed, she's going to take on the 15th seed, Ludmila. That's going to be a good match, but I don't know. I just felt that. I mean, I said, look, take the over, I think, right? I pretty much said take the over in this match, but it was a straight set, but the first set did go over. And this is the type of matchup here where I just felt Anna's angles a little bit more. I mean, Mary Boo, she's a rally player. She's a defensive player. She gets balls back, but she's more of a straight down the line type of person. While I think she has a superior shot making ability. And I think she showed that today. I mean, she won the first serve points won, the second serve points won. Break points were nearly identical, but in terms of winners, 3 times the winners, 30-10. Now, she did make a lot more unforced errors, but again, the aggressive style, I don't know if Buseva has that aggressive style. I think she just plays patient, whereas Dasha is also a good defensive player. Svitolina is also a good defensive player. Svitolina now, she's more aggressive than she's ever been. And I think Gail's been a big factor in the improvement of her game. But also, we take a look at Dasha. Dasha can be aggressive. I don't know if Buseva can be aggressive like that. And when she plays someone that's a really good shot maker with great angles like Anna Kalinskaya, it's just going to be a bad matchup. And that's what we saw here. Danny Mel. Listen, guys, I was just thinking this, watching this match against Dalma Galfi. Danielle Collins, her career is winding down. Now, if she can hold on to that race to the final spot, she'll make Saudi Arabia, and I think that'll be very special for her. Again, get that retirement check, that package. Danielle said it best. If I'm not playing tennis, I'm not making money. So that's why, when you hear these players that come back and all they want is free wild cards into these tournaments, that lets you know, look, they're set financially. So that's concerning a bit because they're set financially, so they're taking the opportunity for an upcomer to earn. If they're set financially, they should go out on the tour and play these other tournaments. Prove you want to be a tennis player. Stop taking these big game checks from players that need the start. Take a look at all of these players. A lot of these top players got their big start somewhere, and they always remember that. And Danielle Collins, where was her big start, guys? You remember? the Australian Open. That's right. And she went ham. And she went ham in this match today as well. She took out Dal McGalfy. Dal McGalfy, I just felt, would have issues covering the rockets of Danielle Collins. Danielle will win this match in straight sets, and she's looking pretty darn good. 6-3, 6-4. How'd she do it? She's got to control the double faults, 10 double faults, but she won the first serve percentage battle, the second serve percentage battle. She won 61% of her first serves, which isn't necessarily high, but she did win 20. She had 22 winners to 14, and she even won the net points. 71% of the net points Danielle Collins won. What's next for Collins? She's going to take on Beatrice Haddad. That's right, guys. Danielle's the 11th seed. Beatrice is the 20th seed. That's going to be a good match. Get your popcorn. I can't wait to talk about that. Robin Montgomery, U.S. Open Junior Slam champ. Now, look, she put up a fight. Robin Montgomery, she's developing. She's still young. The first set, she got a breadstick. But the second set, she had an opportunity, if she could have held on, to force a second set tiebreak. But what are you going to do when you're facing Ons, the best shot maker in the world? Those drop shots can really disrupt anyone's momentum. What's next for Ons at 10th seed? She's going to take on Svitolina. And that's right. That's here. Svitolina played Julia Niemeyer. Watching this match, early on, Julia put up a fight. She was broken early by Elena, and then she would break back. Julia would break back, tie it up, and then, of course, right around, it always happens around that time, right around the 8th service game, Svitolina would surge ahead, get the break, and close it out 6-3. And she didn't look back, as she would wrap this up in second sets, in straight sets. The thing with this match here, watching it, of course, I watch every match. Svitolina, just a superior shot maker right now. Julia does have good variety, but Svitolina was able to stretch the court really wide to where Julia was on the back foot. But I don't think the double faults. I think, or let me put it this way: the double faults told the story big time in this match, because Julia literally faulted away her break that decided the first set. She did not serve well today. Julia served horribly today. And it was a shame for such a big match. Now, she had 6 double faults. Of course, we're seeing a lot of players with double digits, double faults. That tells me, with all the faults and double faults I'm seeing, is the players, they're starting to wear down. And this is around right mid-season. This is where players' bodies start to really break down. Remember, these are females. Okay, these are females that are grueling with these tough schedules. And the amount of faults I'm seeing her at Wimbledon, it's a little bit concerning. But it seems like Coco's managed her faults and her double faults, but everyone else is starting to pick up their faults and double faults. But it was sad to see Julia just fault this match away. It really came down to her serve. She only got 47% of her first serves in play, while Svitolina got 68% of hers in play. And Julia's going to take on Ons, the best shot maker in the world. That is going to be an amazing match. I think that's one of the matches I'm looking forward to. And now they've played 4 times, ladies and gentlemen. Svitolina has dominated that matchup. I am so excited. And I mean, both these ladies are about the same age. Svitolina has had, I mean, the better success on the main tour overall. We know she hit a funk right before having the baby, where the war was going on and she just didn't want to play. But overall, same age, Svitolina has had overall. I mean, and this is where it gets a little tough, though, because Ons has made 3 Grand Slam finals. So she's at least got 3 runner-up trophies. She's got 2 WTA final appearances. Svitolina did win WTA championship, I want to say 2018, when she took out Sloane Stephens. And then she made back-to-back final appearances in 19 before she lost to Ashley Barty. Who's had the better career? That's a question I should post in the community. I think it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, Svitolina's got almost twice, probably double the championships of Ons, but that's a good question, because Ons has had a good career. I mean, to make 3 Slam final appearances, that's pretty big time. I mean, she's got 5 main tour championships, 12 on the lower level. Svitolina, I'm pretty sure, has about 17 titles, if I'm not mistaken. And Svitolina, she's been a former top 3 player. I think, yeah, she's got exactly 17 titles, so I'm correct. I don't know. That's tough. You can't take away, even though Ons didn't win the big one, you can't take away from it because she still made three slam appearances. I don't know. That's a tough. I mean, I guess Vitalina's got 17. She's got what? Yeah, she got double the championships. But I don't know. Making a slam is big time, and she's made three of them. I don't know. It's a toss up. I say it's a tie. Jula again. Yeah, she would lose big time to Svitolina. It seems like everything went Svitolina's way. Just the deep ball. She was able to keep Jula back behind that baseline. And again, it was sad to see Jula just fall so much. This was a match, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I say about Bernarda Pera all the time? The players you expect her to beat, she loses to. And the matches where you probably fade her and think, oh, I don't know if she's going to win this. She comes up big. That's been the story of her career. She's now slid in the rankings to 97, 13 aces. That's right. She out-aced Garcia. Garcia had 12 aces in this match. 8 double faults from Pera, but Garcia couldn't hang with that left forehand. And we all know Garcia favors her forehand. This was a forehand for forehand matchup, and it just seemed like Garcia was uncomfortable all match long. Bernarda Pera won 80% of her first serves. That says it all. 30, she out winnered Caroline Garcia, 34 winners to 32. Even though she had more unforced errors and she lost in net points, in these rallies, her power really had Caroline Garcia on the back foot. Caroline Garcia could not do nothing, and she kept pointing to her head and then looking at her camp. She had a headache for sure because these rockets of Bernarda Pera, unbelievable. What's next for Bernarda Pera? Listen, guys, can she go deeper? She is getting older, but it seems like everything's clicking for her. She's going to take on Ostapenko, and the winner of that match is going to square with Iga. Now, I don't think, you know what? I can't quite say that. I was going to say I don't think Pera can beat Iga, but you never know because you just can't keep beating someone. Eventually, they're going to get better. And I do think that, and of course, when we talk about Coco, I mean, Iga has dominated Coco, but the reality here is Coco's, that younger version of Coco, Coco's starting to really flip the page in that book where we're seeing all of the things she's working on finally come together. And she's a really dominant player. And like I said, take Iga out of Coco's draws now that Coco's two. She's going to be in a lot more finals, a lot more slam appearance. She's been consistent with semifinals and quarterfinals. She's going to be in a lot more final appearances in these slams. And if Iga slips up, that's it. Coco's going to be winning numerous slams pretty easily. So I don't want to say Pera can't beat Iga, but I do think Ostapenko will beat Iga. I think that's the big difference. I mean, if Pera played Iga how she played Garcia today, I think she'll do well. But Ostapenko, that game, Iga's going to struggle against Ostapenko. Trust me. On grass, she's going to struggle big time. And mentioning Iga, she took on Petra Martic today. Iga came out, and again, you could see why grass is her least favorite surface. Petra Martic, who has struggled against Iga, won a lot of service games today. That's right. Petra Martic, 6-4 in the first set. Before she got injured, she called for the physio medical timeout. And that was scary. That concerned me a little bit because you never want to see anyone call for the physio, right? And she was down for a while. It looked like she had back issues. She had a massage. But the fact that Petra Martic, and I had to call Iga's Bakery today. Make sure you check out that video. In the first set, for the most of the first set, Petra Martic was winning 85% of her first serves. That's insane from the second best defensive player on tour behind Coco, which is Iga. Iga's the second best player defensively, statistic wise, and to give up that many, to give up that many first serves, you can see that grass is not her favorite surface. Why? Because with players with variety, which is why I think Yulia might actually be an interesting matchup for Iga on grass. Players that have that variety that can mix it up, you disrupt your opponent's momentum because now they can't get into the rallies and they're nervous. They're paranoid of when that drop shot's going to come, and that throws everything off. But Iga would prevail in straight sets. I thought Petra played well, and I thought Iga played well. I mean, overall, guys, Iga 3 aces, 65% of her first serves in play. Iga won 83% of her first serves. That's amazing. 63% of the second serve. 25 winners to 13. 19 unforced errors. Now, remember that run last year after the French Open where Iga was averaging about 22 unforced errors a game? 19's not good, guys. I'm telling you, I don't know if Iga's going to win Wimbledon here. I think Coco might take this one. Elena Rybakina. Now, this match scared me. And again, Iga Swiatek, guys, what's up next for her? She's going to take on Yulia Putintseva, so stay tuned for that. This match scared me a little bit because Elena Rybakina, in the second set, she was broken early. She broke back, and it seemed like Miami all over again, where she decided to call the dogs off because she felt she would probably lose the second set. I don't know. I Something's wrong with Rebecca. And now maybe it was the drop shot of Laura Segment, but she did not look good today. And if she's maybe it's just one of those days at work, right? We just have a bad day at work, possibly. But if she plays like this, I don't think she's going to win Wimbledon, right? She had 5 aces, 3 double faults, 64% of her first serves in play. She won 75% of them. She lost 52% of her second serve, 46 unforced errors. That concerns me. She's making a lot of mistakes. Her energy's not there. And this is going to be a nightmare of a matchup next. She's going to take on Caroline Wozniacki, who is playing well. And listen, guys, I'm back on the bandwagon. And I want to be clear about this. My favorite players before this current generation came up, before Coco was on the main tour, Iga, any of these ladies, Serena and Venus, my top two favorites. But then it was Woz. Okay, Woz, that's right. Caroline, Kerber, Svitolina. These were the players that I really, really liked. These were my favorite players. Mertens, these were my favorite players. And I'm very happy with what I'm seeing with Caroline. She beat Alicia Parks and she beat Leylah Fernandez today. Very impressed with her, okay? Again, a page from Osaka's father's book. If you are a tennis player, play tennis. Stop complaining, show your game, and Caroline's a solid tennis player. And it happens, guys. When you come back early in a season, you get injured, you have to heal. A lot of players continue to play and play and play injured, so you never see their best, which is why Alicia Parks went on that win streak. She's playing her best because she's healthy. Woz has been injured a lot lately, and we have to acknowledge that, right? It looks like she's healthy now, and she's getting the results. So she's going to take on Elena Rybakina next, and that's a matchup that scares me for Rybakina because Caroline's going to get back balls. She's going to make some drop shots. That's a scary matchup. That could be an upset. Coco, let's switch to doubles. Her and Pegula looked really good against Yastremska and Helena Kalinina. That was a good matchup, guys. I felt that Diana and Helena made a little bit too many mistakes, but Coco and Pegula would prevail. I think Coco and Pegula will probably win this doubles slam title, and that means that Coco's going to be just 2 more slams away. She made the French Open final already. She made the U.S. Open final, and U.S. Open and Australian Open. She's going to be 2 slam finals away if she wins Wimbledon with Pegula, and then she's not going to be competing in doubles in France. So, and by the way, there's a lot of controversy behind the double selection for the Americans. We'll talk about that another day. But nonetheless, Elena Evanesian, guys, tough matchup today, taking on Ludmila. This was a good matchup, and I just felt, again, Ludmila, she just have a little bit too much power. She's not going to play tennis with Elena. Elena's a good defensive player, good top spin. She's going to go in there with the drop shots. And I talked about how Ludmila's drop shot, it's the best, besides Ons, it's the best looking drop shot on tour. I can't think of a better drop shot than Ludmila's right now. Now, Sabalenka did razzle and dazzle us on clay with her drop shot, but she's not healthy, so we don't have the chance to see it on grass. I felt that would have been a really big weapon on grass, but especially with her length, her reach. But Ludmila would get the job done, guys. 6 aces, nearly 80% of her first serves won. She'll win 47% of Alina's first serves and 61% of her second serves, forced her into 24 unforced errors. Now, Alina did win the net points, but just wasn't enough. She needed more exchanges at the net because the power of Ludmila too strong. Ludmila's going to take on Anna Kalinskaya next. I would probably lean towards Ludmila, the power that she has. That's going to prevent, Anna just finding a rhythm to tear you apart cross court. So I like Ludmila in that matchup against Anna Kalinskaya. That's Yelena Ostapenko, guys. And that's her going down the line with her aggressive winner. That's Daria watching it go by. And that's Yelena Ostapenko in full stride. Listen, very straightforward match there. The power of Ostapenko, just too much here. She won this match 6-3, a bagel in the second set. Overall, she won nearly 90% of her first serves, 88%. And that scares me for Iga Swiatek. I'm telling you guys, that's going to be a scary matchup if she gets past Pera. I think Iga's going to be eliminated. That's right, guys. What do you think? It's going to be good. Katerina Siniakova. This was a good matchup, taking on Yulia Putintseva. Now, Putintseva was the underdog, and I talked about how Putintseva, she's going to be taking on Iga next. This did go 3. Now, Putintseva won the first set, bagel. Katerina bounced back 6-4 in the second set, and Putintseva would close it out 6-2 in the third set. The drop shot against Iga, if she's going to get him in there. Her drop shot's amazing. If she can go to that drop shot early in the rally before Iga backs you up, she might have a chance to beat Iga. Those are the matches for today, guys. Stay tuned. We're going to post the updates in the community. Who's going to win SW19? Stay tuned for that. Like the video. Hit the super thanks. Thanks for the love. We'll be back. Tennis After Dark.